Mesdames et messieurs, nous voici avec une nouvelle présentation, nouveau talk avec Amir Shamir.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming today. I was supposed to do a presentation, but I thought, why not have a rather discussion about it? The topic that I want to talk about today is called Uncharted Territory. And it is about hacking large-scale transportation. It is about hacking planes, trains, and automobiles, as well as boats and ships. This is a very real-world problem because while we are focusing on AI security, while we are focusing on the security pertaining to softwares, we are less focused on security issues that are related to our daily usages or modes, methods of transportation that we consume. The problem arises when we do not look at these problems as real-world issues. Someone came up with the idea a few years ago of something called vehicular warfare, and you know, we've been taught this throughout our lives by movies, by, you know, the content that we used to consume. That take the movie Speed 2, for example, where a hacker takes control of a maritime yacht. So we need to understand the fact that these are real-world problems. Maritime cybersecurity, transportational cybersecurity, as well as airline cybersecurity, these are real-world problems, and you know, we need to address them as such. Now, the issue is that companies that are providing cybersecurity or the practices related to these cybersecurity issues are not dealt with in a particular way. Like, you won't ever see a standard or a methodology relating to maritime cybersecurity or airplane cybersecurity. While there are security measures in place, they're not strong enough to prevent a widespread attack. For instance, airlines and airplanes, they basically work on similar standards as the internet does, right? We have something that is called ADS-B in airplanes. It is basically a surveillance mechanism. We know that FlightAware and FlightRadar are basically websites where you can track flights, right? It gives you the flights, the plane's number, it gives you the heading of the plane, it gives you the speed of the plane. It basically gives you all of the information that you would need to spoof that particular plane. Now, the issue here is if someone actually somehow used that information and spoofed that plane in real time, what would happen if you would prevent that? Just like that, there is something called ACARS, which is a communication system between the ground station and the airplane itself. ACARS is a majorly unencrypted system. ACARS does not have an encryption standard in place to prevent or to protect from spoofing. We did an experiment a few months back where we took the flight information from a real-world system, from a real airplane, and then we spoofed it back into the FlightAware system. Now, FlightAware and FlightRadar24, they basically work on volunteering-based data provisions. What happens is, when you volunteer, you basically use one of their transponders and you put it on your roof, so whatever plane basically passes over your roof, it detects it, and and feeds that data into something called an ADS-B exchange. And that exchange basically culminates that data and takes it and then uses it as a database and takes it from multiple endpoints in the world. I'm going to be doing a very detailed a hacking lab about this particular topic as well. I'm going to be doing it later today, so I invite you all to come there. But the core idea behind the talk this time is basically to give you an overview that transportational cybersecurity in itself is not safe. It is very vulnerable, and while most people may be unaware of the fact that transportational cybersecurity is safer than X, Y, or Z, it is not particularly safe when it comes to other areas of cybersecurity. The Malaysian airline MH137 or 170, I can't recall the name. That particular plane is said to have been hijacked using interfrequency hopping manipulation, which means that it was not supposed to land where it should be. Similarly, we have something called an ILS, which is basically helping the computer systems in an airplane to determine the heading of the plane when it is crossing on a runway. Some researchers, along with myself at the University of Ohio, basically came up with a system to manipulate or change the frequency ranges that were related to the ILS and its landing gear. And that basically caused malfunction in the landing gear, and we were able to successfully bring down that plane on a runway that it was not supposed to be on. So issues like these, we rely on airplanes every day or every week of our lives. We rely on, we may not think that maritime transportation is important, but 83% of the international trade goes through ships from one place to another. And if one oil ship was to be sabotaged by the attackers, or if one of such containers was to be taken over by the attackers, we would lose valuable resources. So this was just an overview. This was just a brief idea to give you that the next session that is going to be a hacking lab is going to take place in that corner of the conference, and I invite you all to come there. We're going to be talking a little bit deeper on maritime cybersecurity as well as others. Whenever someone tells you that transportational cybersecurity is not important, please tell them that it is wrong. Thank you.